I want to take you back to a room in New York in 1933. I was standing in Abdullah's study, and I had just confessed something to him. I told him I wanted to be home in Barbados for Christmas. I told him I missed my family. I missed the sea. I missed the sound of my own language, spoken in my own house. And I had no money. Not some money, none. It was the depression. I was a dancer whose career had gone quiet, and I was counting coins to eat. Abdullah did not comfort me. He did not tell me it would work out. He looked at me the way a man looks at someone who has just said something slightly foolish, and he said, "Neville, you are not going to Barbados." "You are already in Barbados," I told him. "Ab, I am not. I am standing here in New York with empty pockets." And he simply turned and walked into the next room. That was the whole conversation. He would not discuss the money. He would not discuss the how. He would not even acknowledge that there was a problem to solve. I did not understand it then. I want you to sit with that discomfort for a moment, because if you are watching this video, you are very likely standing exactly where I stood. You have a thing you want. Money. Very often it is money. Sometimes it wears the specific face of a lottery, a windfall, a stroke of luck, and you have no visible way to get it. And you have come here hoping I will give you a technique. I am going to give you something better. I am going to give you the truth Abdullah gave me, and it will feel at first like he did to me, like it isn't helping at all. Stay with me. It helps completely. Here is what I want to name in you, precisely because I think you have not named it in yourself. You believe you are trying to manifest money, but look honestly at what happens in your mind when you picture it. You picture it as absent. You picture it as a thing out there, delayed, still to be obtained. You have been faithful. I know you have. You have visualized. You have said the words. You have done the exercises. And still it has not come, and you are beginning to wonder if the law simply does not work for you. It is not that. You have been visualizing from the consciousness of a man who does not have it. You have been looking for the money, and the very act of looking for it, wanting it, reaching toward it, is a confession that in your world, right now, it is absent. I wrote in The Power of Awareness that the world is yourself pushed out. Read that again. The world is yourself pushed out. It does not respond to your wishing. It responds to your being, and the world can only give you back the man you are being. Now let me finish the Barbados story, because it is the whole teaching in one scene. 1933. The depression had taken my work, my income, nearly all of it. Barbados was thousands of miles away and might as well have been the moon, because I had no fare and no way of getting one. Abdullah's instruction was absolute. Every single time I spoke as a man who hoped to go, every time I said something like, "If only I could find the money," he shut it down instantly. He would not let me hold the state of trying to get there. He told me to walk the streets of New York and feel the ground of Barbados under my feet, feel the heat, feel my mother's house, hear the sea. Not someday. Now. My inner speech kept betraying me. That is the part I want you to hear, because it is happening in you right now, even as you watch this. I would catch myself thinking, if I could just scrape together the fare. And each time, Abdullah's correction came back to me. You don't find the fare. You are already there. Weeks later, weeks, not years, weeks, an offer of passage arrived. Completely unplanned, a means I could not have engineered if I had spent a lifetime trying. I sailed for Christmas. I did not get to Barbados. I discovered I was already there, and the world rearranged itself to agree with me. This is the exact mechanism behind every windfall anyone has ever called luck, including the lottery, especially the lottery. Now, before I go one word further, I want to stop you here, because in a few minutes this teaching is going to pull you forward and you are going to forget what I am about to say, and I don't want that to happen. If you are ready to actually do this, not admire it, not nod along, but do it, tonight, I want you to comment one single word below this video. The word is rewrite, just that. Not a sentence, not your story, not even great video. One word, rewrite. Do it now, while your hand is near the keyboard, because in 90 seconds, I am going to be deep in the teaching, and you will tell yourself you'll do it later, and later rarely comes. I will personally reply to you with a link. You are not asking me a favor. You are claiming something I have already prepared, free, for the person who is done admiring this and ready to live it. It's called Rewrite Tonight. Here is why I'm stopping to say this now instead of at the end. What I have taught you already is true, and it is powerful, but it is one movement out of 4. Assuming the state, the very thing you came here for, is the last step, not the first. Before Abdullah ever gave me a scene to imagine, before he gave me a single affirmation, he made me master one thing. The nightly sequence, 4 parts, revision, clearing the soil of the day before you plant anything in it, the correction of inner speech, the silent talking that runs underneath everything and instructs the subconscious all day long, whether you're paying attention to it or not. Precise scene construction, one real scene, specific, not a vague daydream about being rich and falling asleep inside the state, the actual transfer, the moment consciousness crosses over into sleep, still holding the assumption. If you have only been practicing the last of these, picturing the wish fulfilled and hoping it holds, that is exactly why your results have been inconsistent. You have been laying a foundation on ground you never cleared. The subconscious received a partial instruction. Partial instructions produce partial results. That is not a flaw in you. That is simply the missing piece. Abdullah made me master the clearing first. Revision before sleep, before anything else. I have taken that exact practice and written it into a short, free guide called Rewrite Tonight. It is not a summary of this video. It is a complete 3-minute pre-sleep revision. How to choose the 3 moments from your day that are quietly poisoning your sleep. How to rewrite each one so the subconscious carries a clean record into the night. And how to feel the actual clearing that finally lets every other technique you've ever learned reach the deeper mind. It is free. It is immediate. It is the step everything else depends on. It is the first link in the description below this video. Open it tonight, or comment the word rewrite, and I will send it to you myself. And for those of you who feel it, who already sense that the clearing alone will not be enough, who are ready for the whole transfer, you will find it waiting the moment you open the guide. 7 nights, 4 movements. The exact order Abdullah gave it to me, decades ago, in that same study where he told me I was already in Barbados. But do not reach for that yet. Start with the clearing. Start tonight. Take the first link in the description and open the guide tonight, or comment the word rewrite below. Not as a comment, as a decision. You are done lying down at night carrying the weight of an unrevised day. You are done planting seeds in soil you never cleared. Now let me give you the truths underneath all of this, one at a time, because I want you to actually own them, not just hear them. The first is this: wanting the money is the reason you don't have it. I know how that sounds, but your desire, in the form you are currently carrying it, is an unbroken confession of lack. You are affirming absence with the very energy of your wanting. Remember what I said, the world is yourself pushed out. You are being given back, faithfully. exactly the consciousness you are holding. A wanting man produces a world that keeps him wanting. This is why Abdullah refused to discuss the fair with me. Every time I spoke from need, he simply walked away, because to entertain the lack, even in conversation, was to feed it. So here is what I want you to do, and what I want you to stop doing. Stop rehearsing the getting. Stop imagining the moment the money arrives, because that scene still requires its absence right now to make sense. Assume the had. Speak from possession, not pursuit. The second truth. The how is none of your business, and the moment it becomes your business, you lose the whole thing. If you fixate on the lottery specifically, this ticket, this drawing, this number, you are trying to do the work of the law with the machinery of a man's mind, and the two were never built to do the same job. A genuinely assumed state selects its own means, and it is always a means you could not have engineered. My passage to Barbados came from a source I never imagined and could not have arranged if I had tried for a year. I held the state. The world built the bridge. That is what a lucky windfall actually is, a bridge of incidents that reality had to construct, in secret, out of your sight, to make your assumed state a fact. The world calls it luck because it cannot trace the chain of causes. You and I know better. It is law, not luck, so release the mechanism. Stop insisting it must come through the lottery. Hold the end, the felt reality of the man for whom money is no longer a question, and let reality choose its own door. The third truth, and I consider this the one most people give up on too soon. You must feel rich before there is a single piece of evidence. That gap between the feeling and the proof is not the problem. It is the doorway. I wrote in feeling is the secret, that feeling is the secret, that the feeling of the wish fulfilled, if persisted in, must objectify the state that would have created it. Read that sentence slowly. The feeling comes first. It always comes first. Evidence is the last thing to arrive, never the first. I walked the cold streets of New York in old November weather, feeling the warmth of a Barbados sun on my skin, with nothing in my pocket to justify that feeling. The feeling came weeks before the ticket did. So stop waiting for a sign to permit you to feel wealthy. Generate the feeling in the total absence of the sign. That, and nothing more elaborate than that, is the entire art of this law. The fourth truth brings us right back to where we already stood a few minutes ago. The soil must be cleared before the seed can take. This is precisely why your assumptions have not held. You assume the wealthy state in the evening with real feeling, and then you fall asleep, and your mind quietly replays the argument from this afternoon, the bill you couldn't pay, the worry from this morning, and that unrevised day overwrites the wealthy state before dawn even arrives. Abdullah would not let me build a single scene of Barbados until I had first learned to revise the day. That was the order. Clearing, always, before construction. So clear the day before you assume the end. Every night, without exception. Now let me give you tonight's practice, simply, because I don't want you leaving here with only theory. Tonight, before sleep, do not picture money. Do not picture a check, a number, a windfall. Instead, build one short scene, a single real moment that could only be true if the money were already yours, already settled, already old news. Perhaps you are telling someone quietly that everything is fine now. Perhaps you are simply sitting in a chair in your own home with the entire question of money gone, dissolved, no longer even a topic. Feel the relief in it. That is the tell you're looking for. Wealth in true consciousness does not feel like excitement. It feels like relief. Like a burden finally set down, enter that one scene. Make it vivid. One scene, not 10. And let yourself drift into sleep from inside it, as the man who already has, not the man looking at a picture of having. That is the transfer, the fourth of the 4 movements. But hear me on this. If the day is not cleared first, the assumption will not take root. That clearing is exactly what Rewrite Tonight walks you through, step by step, in 3 minutes. The foundation Abdullah made me master before he ever let me build a single scene of anything. I want to say something now about the waiting, because I know some of you have been doing this, some version of this, for weeks or months, and nothing visible has changed, and you are close to concluding that the law simply skipped you. It did not. The waiting you are in is not proof that anything has failed. It is the interval in which the bridge of incidents is being built, out of your sight, exactly as mine was built while I walked those New York streets with empty pockets and a warm feeling I could not explain to anyone. The silence is not absence. It is the pause between the assumption and its shadow. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are waiting for your 5 senses to catch up to what has already happened, completely, in consciousness. One day soon you will look back on this very night, this ordinary night, with nothing yet in your hands to show for it, and you will know, without anyone telling you, that this was the night you stopped begging for what was already yours. There is a reason your best assumptions dissolve by morning, and it has nothing to do with weakness or a lack of faith. It is a single hidden movement of the mind, one that Abdullah corrected in me before anything else was allowed to take hold. In the next teaching, I will show you the correction of inner speech, that silent conversation running beneath every hour of your day, instructing your subconscious whether you are aware of it or not. Watch for it. It is the layer that makes everything you have learned tonight hold at full strength.